Hey guys, it's Alex here from CrossFit Wymack. We're currently going through a push-up challenge for the gym, so people are trying to do 100 push-ups a day, and I know that people can get sore from doing so many repetitive movements in the same direction, okay? So I'm going to give you a few tips today about how we can stay mobile and stay away from getting sore, okay? A lot of repetitive movements, especially with the push movement, you're probably going to get a little bit of tendonitis in the elbow, so what people call tennis elbow or golfer's elbow, so just on the inside of the elbow joint just there. And a lot of that is to do with just that repetitive loading of the same direction of movement. So I've got a few tips for you today on how we can avoid that, and if you do get a little bit of tendonitis, how we can deal with it, okay? First thing I want to talk about is that, especially when we're practicing the perfect push-up, so that push-up where we're close, some people call it tricep push-up, okay? So we're pushing up from the floor, 90-degree elbows, in and out, okay? So we've not got that wide elbow and driving out, we're nice and close, okay? That's the ideal movement that we're practicing, okay? Because that translates to everything else we do, whether it's a push, pushing away, fighting, all that sort of stuff. The power comes from the center outwards, and that's what we're looking for. Okay, so when we do this, it is a push movement and we're trying to create external rotation. What you'll find if you are just pushing up from this position and you're flaring your elbows out because of slightly weak triceps, okay, that's definitely a way that we're going to get sore inside elbow, okay? So what we want to try and do is every time we push away is to rotate externally, okay? We're creating external rotation or external torque from the hands, okay? So when we're on the ground doing a push-up like that, we're trying to drive and twist at the same time, okay? That'll keep the forces on the outside of the elbow rather than the inside, okay? So that's going to equalize things a little bit. That's one good way to try and reduce the chance of getting that tendonitis in the elbow. Another thing we can do is just make sure that we warm up and we do an opposing movement at the same time. So anytime we're doing a repetitive movement in the same direction, so we're constantly pushing away with those push-ups, what we want to try and do at the same time is probably a pull of some sort, okay? So you can intersect your push-ups with a row, barbell row, kettlebell row, just grab something heavy and row in the opposite direction. You only have to do one or two to each of your 10 or so that you're doing, or sets, whatever sets you're doing, just to give you the kind of reverse movement. Another thing you can do is pull-ups, same thing, okay? So every time you do a set of 5 or 10, jump up and do one pull-up, okay? Another good way, if you don't have access to something like that, another good way is every time you do a push-up, shake out the arms, or every time you do a set of push-ups, shake out the arms and press overhead. All right, so just practice that press a few times and then go back to doing your push-ups, okay? It just gives your tendons, gives your muscles a time to relax and just invert the movement a little bit. Okay, so that's ways to avoid getting tendonitis while you're doing this. What happens if you've already got it? What happens if you're already getting sore elbows from doing 100 a day? Okay, there's plenty of things we can do to just try and get rid of it and just get some blood flowing back into the tendons, okay, and that'll help repair the tendon and just loosen it up and get rid of some of the pain, okay? So I've got 3 things here. This is not in any means ideal items for doing this, okay, and I've done that deliberately so that you can just have a go with anything you've got at home, whether it's this is a softball, whether it's a cricket ball, same kind of thing, or whether you've got an actual lacrosse ball, that's great. I've got a kettlebell here. You could use the edge of a broom handle, as long as it's rounded at the top. You could use a rolling pin, same sort of thing, okay. And then I've got a strength band here. Again, not ideal. What we'd actually rather have would be like a voodoo floss band. I can't remember what they called it, industrial, but there's at Rogue they're called voodoo floss bands, and it's just a real thin wide black band, and it comes in a roll, okay? If you don't have that, just anything that's got a little bit of tension on it, or a little bit give on it at the same time, okay? So I'm gonna go through 3 different movements or 3 different things just to try and show you what we're looking for. Now, a cause of tendonitis is usually to do an imbalance between the bicep and the tricep muscles, okay? So what we want to do is we want to try and hit both of those points just to try and loosen it out. The other thing is the forearm as well, so the muscle in the forearm here. So we'll start with a kettlebell, okay? This is nice and easy. You can use the edge, you can use the flat. So we're just going to get in to the muscle here, just above the elbow, and work our way up, okay? We're just going to loosen out these grip muscles a little bit. So we'll get in there and we're just going to work our way around. Get in, give it a good twist, and just keep working your way down the kettlebell like that, okay? I'm going to work all the way down just above the wrist, and then I'm going to go back the other way, really just getting in between the meat and the bone, okay? Just in there, that's all I'm working, okay? And especially down here where we get the joint. Okay, let's do that a few times, get a feel for how the elbow feels. All right, if we're getting a little bit of loosening up and it's not quite as sore, that's a good thing. Okay, and then the other way to do that is palm down, just on the top. We're just going to work our way, same thing. We're going to push away from the bone, so we're pushing that way across the kettlebell. And then we'll go again. Okay, good. So we should start feeling whether that loosens up or not. All right. The next one we're going to do is with a hard ball of some sort. This is called a soft ball. It's not very soft. So with a hard ball of some sort, whether it's a rubber dog ball or whatever, but something harder than a tennis ball. Okay, so I'm just going to get down here onto the table, bring my elbow up, and we're going to work our way around the tricep. Okay, so again, just get in around that joint first, work your way through it, roll it around, try and find any knotty bits, any tight bits, work it around. Okay. Work your way all the way up that tricep, up under the arm. Again, just find anywhere where it feels tight, knotted, and just give it a work around. Okay, now that's going to loosen out the tricep a little bit. Okay, should give you a little bit of movement back. Okay, it should feel good. So the final thing we're going to do again is, if you've got a band of some sort, something with a little bit of stretching but a little bit of give as well. Again, these aren't ideal, but somebody's got my voodoo floss band, so I'm just going to use this. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it round above the elbow. Okay, so I'm going in just around the tricep bicep base, and then I'm going to put the band around over itself. Okay, and now this time I'm going to go around, if you can see there, I'm going to go around just under the elbow and then just over the elbow. All right, so that's probably about enough. Make sure there's a bit of tension on there. All right, a little bit of tension. It's not too tight, it's not cutting any circulation off yet. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to grip, so I'm really using my forearm here, grip, and then I'm going to pull in, okay, like we're doing a curl. Just work it in a bit. Okay, so what we're doing is that band is just cutting off a little bit of the circulation to the elbow. All right, sounds like a bad thing, it's honestly not. Okay, what we're doing is forcing the blood out of the tendon where it's sore. Okay, and then we're going to let go, undo the band, okay, and just let that blood flow back in to the elbow and to the tendon. Okay, now most people, when they do this, when they got tendonitis the first time, they'll be like, oh my god, that's so much better. Okay, honestly, it works that quickly. And you want to do that about 2 or 3 times on the elbow, just if you've got that tendonitis. Already I can feel You know, I've been doing 100 a day. What are we on, day 5 now? So that's 500, okay? And now it feels fine again, okay? So do that 2 or 3 times, whichever side's the worst or whichever side's giving you the pain, and then that's it. So again, Voodoo floss band's better than these, but if you're in our gym, you can come and use these, that's fine. Otherwise, just any kind of TheraBand, anything like that, that gives enough kind of restriction in there. Okay guys, that's it for today. I hope that helps with your push-ups and I hope you make it all the way through.